probably think I'm a confident person. And if you even know me a little bit more about from watching my TED Talks or reading my book, you would be pretty sure I'm a confident person. You probably wouldn't think a timid 17-year-old would give TEDx Talks in front of 700 plus people. So this is my journey through the peculiar question of confidence. So as a person who in fact was never confident, I was like most people my age. I would care about what other people thought about me, and this seemingly never-ending thread of thoughts and narrative going through my head would be so overwhelming that I, like most people, would not dare to talk to the person, raise my hand in class, stand up when something wasn't right, or even abstaining from doing simple acts such as saying hi to the person in the hallway. So what changed? What can you learn from my journey? Confidence is interesting and tricky at the same time. It's interesting because confidence is correlated to our narrative. Or to put it in simple terms, the confident question becomes a matter of what you internally believe and tell yourself. It's massively tricky because to change the picture of how you see yourself when you're by yourself is not an easy job, but it's possible. Let's try to understand how I made that happen. So from kindergarten to 8th grade, I was a person who cared about what other kids thought about me, what my parents thought about me, what my family thought about me, and what society thought about me. And as you can expect, I was a person who I thought they thought I was. So before age 13, I would describe myself as a kid who was scared, timid, smart but not smart enough, talented but not talented enough, unstable and quiet. Sure, all the descriptions were probably true if I compare them to other people. However, these descriptions were not about me, or were not about who I was. My confidence level, if there's such a thing, surged, and a wonderful journey called life began. Joseph Campbell was asked what he thought the meaning of life was. He said that the meaning of life is to experience truly living. And let me tell you that to experience truly living, you need to be confident. So by the time I was 13, I was more confident, but not to the level where I am today. Something else had yet to happen. So my family and I desperately left our native country, Venezuela, and I moved to the US, and that was a catalyst. Moving to a different country, different city, different school, different, you name it, was a perfect way to start all over. For me, it meant learning English, entering high school, trying and doing things I never thought I would do, but I had to. I didn't have any other choice, and I had to adapt, and I had the opportunity to reinvent myself. I had the opportunity to change what other people thought about me. Learning and mastering English was a must, and I decided to do it in one day. But I failed, then a week, but I failed, then a month, but I failed, then 6 months, and I succeeded. I took risks and I did things most people wouldn't do, such as the debate club. Joining the debate club was one of the scariest things I've ever done. I shiver every time I remember as I walk into this classroom full of upperclassmen, and all who seemed very articulate and confident. I made the first step, and I somehow walked in there, but now was the hardest part. Now the hardest part was about to begin. The club president asked me if I wanted to stand up in front of 15 plus people and debate about a topic that I was thankfully familiar with, oil. I came from the country with the largest reserve, so I had some knowledge about the topic. It was now my turn, and people started laughing at me, and others started asking themselves, what the heck is this kid saying? No one understood a single word of what I was saying, and I couldn't be more perplexed. I managed to make an argument, and the timer was over. I sighed. After I joined the debate club, I learned to compare my progress to who I was last week, not other people. And I learned to not care about what they thought about me, and I learned to be myself. So, how did I learn all of this? Memento mori, which translates into remember you will die. That's the truth. I have two options. Number one, live the life I wanted confidently, and number two, live the life other people wanted me to live. I didn't want to have any regrets, and I'm only going to regret the things I didn't do, not the things I did. That was just an example of how I did uncomfortable and hard things as a way to be more disciplined and, of course, increase my confidence, my self-esteem. And, other things or hard things that I do include cold showers, fasting, in the morning routine. One of my favorite quotes is by a sociologist, Cooley, that beautifully describes our true nature, why we do what we do, and what it means to be a human. He once said, I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. I'll say it again. I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. It's a very cool quote that will help you understand how our fellow humans think. So, does that mean reality is like looking in a mirror? That is what I thought when I first read that quote. After reading that quote and pondering about it for a few days, I concluded and asked myself these questions. If what I think about me isn't true, and if what someone thinks about me isn't true either, what's the actual representation of my personality? Not a simple question to ask, not for me at the time 14 or 15, and not for someone in their 30s, or not for someone in their 80s. I wanted to change for the better, and I attempted to answer it. I realized that the true representation of my personality was not what I decided to be or become, but an illusionary mental model that only existed in my imagination. I couldn't believe it. And frankly, this explains why people behave differently with different people, such as their family, friends, teacher, etc. My behavior was predicated on what I somehow decided you thought about me. If I think you thought I was smart, I would behave like a smart person. If I think you thought I was incompetent, I would behave like an incompetent person. If I think you thought I was nice, I would behave like a nice person, and so on. However, waking up one day and changing the perception of how everyone in the world thinks about you is hard and arguably ineffective. Instead, I did something a little different. I wanted other people to believe I was confident. I better believe myself. I was confident. This is the first and hardest step, trying to make yourself believe something that might seem impossible or even false. Confident is fascinating. To some, it seems attractive. Hence, I've tried it. Confidence is a lot more than that. It's a lifestyle. It's a way to perceive and be perceived. Life is even easier for those who are confident. Stop looking at this mirror of reality and start living your life confidently. Confidence is the bridge to many other qualities such as self-esteem, independence, writing, coding, public speaking, and even entrepreneurship. Of course, you now think I'm confident, but all started by believing that I was confident. Thank you.